Righto, we are back in action. He's out of his tractor now, so big thanks to Wayne McDonnell and the team for looking after this ground. Your efforts do not go unnoticed from the competitors, the horses or the cattle. We certainly appreciate the care that is given to the arena across the course of the weekend. In camp now, going to test out that new surface. Number 80, Adam Wheeler, riding Highland Sue. Stand by, 81, Sarah Nichols, stylish as hell. Likewise, 82, Billy Carey, fully loaded. On course now for Adam Wheeler, Kajiwar Victoria competitor. He rides Highland View Sue, an 8-year-old mare by Border Hill Sizzler. Unfortunately though, we can only kick things off with a cutout score for Adam.
Last competitor number 80, Adam Wheeler with Highland View Sue, scoring a 20.33 cutout. Put it with a 19.33 from yesterday. That'll be a grand total of 39.67 two-round score. You're on cam now. You're watching competitor number 81, Sarah Nichols, stylish as hell. Bill Carey, you be ready. You are number 82 with Fully Loaded. And Jack Southern, you be ready at 83 with Chisholm's Bethany. Last competitor number 81, Sarah Nichols with the stylish as hell, scoring a 20.67 for cutout, 55.33 for horsework, another 3 course points, grand total 79 points. Put it with the 20.33 from round 1, that'll be a 99.33 two-round score. You are now watching Mr. Bill Carey. He's competitor number 82 with a horse called Fully Loaded. Jack Southern, you be ready. You are number 83 with Chisholm's Bethany, and Roger Grant with Taz's Little Lady. You are number 84.
Gundawindi competitor we watch, Billy Carey, riding Bill and Jill Carey's Fully Loaded. Fully Loaded is a novice stallion. He's a 6-year-old horse by Metallic Cat. Bill and Jill make their home up there at Gundawindi. Unfortunately today, Bill, we can only add a cutout score to your previous score. We will move our attention to Jack Southern, competitor number 83, riding Chisholm's Bethany. Roger Grant, stand by on Taz's Little Lady.
Last competitor number 82, Bill Carey with Fully Loaded, scoring a further 21 points. 21 for round 2, 81 for round 1. That'll be a grand total of 102 for a two-round score. 102. Bill Carey with Fully Loaded. You are watching now competitor number 83, Jack Southern with Chisholm's Bethany. Roger Grant, you're number 84 with Taz's Little Lady. You be at the gate, and Kimberly Salmon 85 with Banshee Conai.
Jackie Southern we watch, competitor number 83. Lives out there where the Mulga meets the Colgoa at Secret Plains. The live stream would be humming. Kevy and Sandy, we send our wishes, because unfortunately that's all we can do for you today. We will have a cutout score for Jack Southern and Chisholm's Bethany.
Competitor number 83, Jack Southern and Chisholm's Bethany, scoring a further 19 points. Put it with a 21 out of round 1. That'll be a two-round score of 40 points. Yeah, you are watching now Mr. Roger Grant from Kubar Performance Horses with one of his nominations in Taz's Little Lady. Waiting at the gate will be number 85, Kimberly Salmon with Banshee Conai. Huey Miles, don't be far away. You're number 86 with Just Jack.
Big thank you to Roger Grant and Kubar Performance Horses, partners here this week. On this occasion, Roger rides Tassie Little Lady, a Seligman Spin mare out of an Acres mare, a 5-year-old entrant. One of Roger's highlights was running 5th in the team's draft here last year. Quite an animated performance from our team's draft competitors, and we'll get to see that a little later as the weekend goes on. Unfortunately today though, Roger, it's a cutout score for you and Taz's Little Lady. Kimberly Salmon moves into the yard on Banshee Conai. Stand by, Hugh Miles, Just Jack.
Better 84, Roger Grant with Taz's Little Lady scoring a further 21.33 points for cutout. Put it with a 20.33 from yesterday, Roger. That'll give you a grand total of 41.67 two-round score. 41.67 for Roger Grant, Taz's Little Lady. As mentioned, you are now watching a Kimberly Salmon. His competitor number 85, 86, Hugh Miles, be at the gate with Just Jack, and Bridie Puddicombe with EPCD Cat. You are number 87.
On course for Bow Desert Lady, Kimberly Salmon, riding Sarah and Sam Campbell's entry, Banshee Conai. We've seen Kimberly going around across the course of the weekend, and indeed a highly decorated lady competitor. A couple of silver cups on her mantelpiece at home, and as well as a Canning Downs and various other wins. On this occasion, she rides an entry for the Campbell family, Banshee Conai. Heading around looking for a gate in the second round here. This is Kimberly Salmon, competitor number 85, riding Banshee Conai. And it's as easy as that, folks. We'll have a score shortly for Kimbo and Banshee Conai. Hugh Miles moves into the yard, riding his entry Just Jack. Standby 87, Bridie Puddicombe, EPCD Cat. Bronwyn Up John and Odie will be 88, 89 Shane Palmer's Red, and 90 Scott Jones Conpeter.
Last competitor 85, Kimberly Salmon and Banshee Conai, scoring a 22 for cutout, 62 for horsework, another 4 course points there, Kimberly. Grand total 88. Put it with an 8-8 out of round 1. That'll be a nice round score of 176. 176 points for Banshee Conai and Kimberly Salmon. You are now watching Mr. Hugh Miles and Just Jack. He's competitor number 86, 87, Bridie Puddicombe with EPCD Cat onto the camp.
And Hugh Miles' entry, Just Jack, is a Conman colt out of the Romeo mare in Smith Family Just Like Jess. He is an open horse and indeed won the Open at the ABCRA Championships earlier this year. Placed last weekend in the restricted. This is Hugh Miles riding his entry, Just Jack.
Last competitor number 86, Hugh Miles and Just Jack, scoring a 22 for cutout, 60.67 for horsework. Another 4 course points there, Hugh. Grand total 86.67. Put it with a 22 out of round 1. That'll be a 108. 108.67 points. Hugh Miles riding Just Jack. You're watching now in on camp competitor number 87, Bridie Puddicombe with EPCD Cat. Waiting at the gate, number 88, Bronwyn Up John with Oti. Shane Palmer, don't be far away. You are competitor number 89 with Red.
Bridie Puddicombe we watch, competitor number 87 on her entry CD Cat. This combination we have seen do some amazing things, including win a Champion of Champions and a Ladies up there at Paradise, as well as this mare's helped Bryony claim a couple of ACA Lady Rider titles This is Bryony Puddicombe riding her entry, CD Cat. Bronwyn Upjohn moves into the yard, competitor number 88 on Oti, 89 standby Shane Palmer and Red.
Competitor number 87, Bryony Puddicombe with EPCD Cat, scoring a further 15 points. 15 for round 2, 21 for round 1. Bryony, grand total 36. 36, 2-round score. Righto, in on camp now, competitor number 88, Bronwyn Upjohn with Odie. Shane Palmer, you be ready. You are competitor number 89 with Red, and Scott Jones, you're 90 with Competa.
Bronwyn Upjohn we will watch. Competitor number 88, she is riding Oti. Oti is by Destiny's Mr. Chick and out of Doc's Dreamcatcher. Starting to put a few good runs together is Bronwyn Upjohn and Oti. Unfortunately, though, today is not the day. We will have a cutout score to add to Bronwyn Upjohn's score. Shane Palmer moves into the camp riding Red, standby number 90, Scott Jones, Competa, and 91, Michael Hiscock, Mewburn, Bama Lamb. Adam Felton at 92 on Cool. 93 will be Billy Elliott's Burt. 94, John Turvey, Willinga Park Flow. And Matt Durkin will ride twice more at number 95.
Last competitor, competitor 88, Bronwyn Upjohn with Odie, scoring a 19.67 for cutout. Put it with a 20.67 from round 1. That'll be a grand total 40.33. 40.33 points for Bronwyn Upjohn's Odie. You are now watching competitor number 89. Mr. Shane Palmer, riding his nomination, Red. Waiting at the gate will be competitor number 90, Scott Jones with competitor Michael Hiscock. Don't be far away. You are competitor number 91 with Mewburn, Bama Lamb.
Yeah, Tamworth competitor we watch, Shane Palmer riding Red. Red's a 17-year-old gelding by Lethal Lena. Shane and Vetty and the boys make their home up there at Tamworth. We'll get to see his son compete in the juvenile on a Saturday. This is Shane Palmer riding Red into the camp. Scott Jones, number 90 on Competa, standby 91, Michael Hiscock, and Mewburn, Bama Lamb.
Last competitor, competitor number 89, Shane Palmer's Red, scoring a further 21 points. 21 with a further 21 out of round 1. That'll be a 42 2-round score there for you, Shano. 42 points, Shane Palmer's Red. In on camp now, competitor number 90, Scott Jones with Competa, 91. Michael Hiscock, Mewburn, Bama Lamb, waiting at the gate, please.
Scott Jones comes from Old Junee and is riding the Forever 22 Partnerships entry, Competa. Competa is a Conman mare out of a Duray mare. This is Scott Jones riding Competa. Number 91 moves into the camp, Michael Hiscock on Mewburn, Bama Lamb, standby 92, Adam Felton's Cool.
Last competitor, competitor number 90, Scott Jones with Competa, scoring a further 20 points for cutout, 61.33 for horsework, another 4 course points, a grand total 85.33. Put it with an 87 out of round 1, that'll be a 172.33, 172.33 for Scott Jones and Competa. You know, outside now you are watching competitor number 91, Michael Hiscock with Mewburn, Bama Lamb. In on camp, please. 92, Adam Felton and Cool. 93 will be Billy Elliott with Burt. Last competitor, competitor 91, Michael Hiscock with Mewburn, Bama Lamb, scoring a further 21 points. 21 points, unfortunately no points in round one, so there are your numbers, 21 points for Michael Hiscock. In on camp now, we should have competitor number 92, Adam Felton and Cool. Waiting at the gate, number 9-3 will be Billy Elliott with Bert. John Turvey, don't be far away, you are 94 with Wallinga Park Flow.
Righto, Adam Felton we watch, Tamworth competitor, makes his home up there, Tamworth Atunga Way. On this occasion he rides his entry Cool.
Last competitor number 92, Adam Felton and Cool, scoring a further 20 points. 20 points for the cutout. Put it with a 16 from round one. That'll be a grand total of 36 points. 36 points there for Adam Felton and Cool. In on camp now, we have competitor number 93, Billy Elliott and Bert. Number 94, John Turvey with Wallinga Park Flow.
Billy Elliott's entry, Bert, is a maiden gelding by Wallabar XL. A great horse of Simon Dodwell's we saw compete across the years. And Billy comes from Bamboka. John Turvey, you move into the yard on Wallinga Park Flow. Stand by, 95, Matt Durkin, twice more. 96 will be Morris Gray, Emu Gully Barton. 97, Lockie Sim. 98, Terry Hall. 99 will be Wyatt Young. And 100, Brooke Hazlitt.
Last competitor number 93, Billy Elliott and Bert, scoring a further 16 points. 16 for the cutout, to put it with a 21 from round one. That'll be grand total, 37 points. 37 points for Billy Elliott and Bert. You are now watching part of the Wallinga Park team, Mr. John Turvey, as competitor number 94, riding Wallinga Park Flow.
On course for John Turvey and Terry Snow's entry, Wallinga Park Flow. John is one of the property managers up there around Westmar, St George. John will be followed by number 95, Matt Durkin, riding at twice more. 96, Morris Gray, stand by on Emu Gully Barton. Likewise, 97, Lockie Sim and Destiny Cherry. Finishing off his second peg though, this is competitor number 94, John Turvey, riding Terry Snow's entry, Wallinga Park Flow. Time, folks. That'll be time for John Turvey. We'll have a score for you shortly, Turv. John Turvey and Wallinga Park Flow.
Last competitor number 94, John Turvey, Wallinga Park Flow, scoring 14.33 for cutout, 51.33 for horsework. Another 3 course points there, Turv. That'll be a grand total of 68.66. You put that with an 81 out of round one. That'll give you 149.67 two-round score. 149.67 two-round score for Wallinga Park Flow and John Turvey. You are now watching competitor number 95, Matt Durkin, with twice more.
Yeah, and Twice More is a novice gelding by One More Daddy. Won a novice up there a couple of weekends ago around Kaluas or somewhere, and Matt is putting together a second round here on him. On your Spade MD. We'll have a score coming through for Matt Durkin and Twice More, competitor number 95. We move our attention to competitor number 96, Morris Gray, Emu Gully Barton, Lockie Sims, standby 97, Destiny's Cherry. 98 will be Terry Hall on Composer, and 99 will be you, Wyatt Young, on Henry's Jezebel.
The last competitor 95, Matt Durkin with Twice More, scoring a 22 cut out, a 60 for horsework, 4 course points, grand total 86 points. Put it with an 84.67 out of round 1. That'll be a grand total, 2-round score of 170.67. 170.67 for Matt Durkin and Twice More. You are now watching competitor number 96, Morris Gray with Emu Gully Barton. Waiting at the gate will be 97, Lockie Sim and Destiny Cherry. Number 98, Terry Hall with Hazelwood Composer. Like we mentioned there before, a big thank you from all the competitors and the team here at Willinga Park to the people that helped make these cattle available. Brett Petty, Jack Ridley, Scott Shea, Mick Woods and Pat Cleary, all been involved right the way through organising these cattle, getting them here and getting them available for your competition here this week and this weekend. So a very big thank you to all that team that have been involved in the cattle, getting that organised. Last competitor, Morris Gray at competitor 96 with Emu Gully Barton, scoring a 19.33 for cutout. Put it with a 16.67 from yesterday. That'll be a 36.2 round score.
Lockie Sim, we watch competitor number 97, riding the Sim family's entry in Destiny's Cherry. She's an Acres Destiny mare, owned by Lock and Beck Sim. Made the trip from Holbrook this week with the family. Looking for a second peg here in the second round of the Willinga Park Gold Buckle. And he's made it look easy. Thanks, Lock. We'll have a score coming through for Lockie Sim and Destiny Cherry. Terry Hall moves into the yard. He's riding Hazelwood Composer, competitor number 98. 99, Wyatt Young, you stand by on Henry's Jezebel. And 100, Brooke Hazlitt, Mia Hellcat. 101 will be Josh Gibson. 102, Darren Brislane. 103, Peter Bolton. And 104, Jamie Gray. We will roll straight over that 100 mark, guys. We did just drag a little early this last segment, so we did roll over it. We're watching competitor number 98, Terry Hall, riding that great gelding, Hazelwood Composer. He's a conman gelding out of Melody Chick, open horse of Terry and Chrissy's. Number 98.
Last competitor number 97, Lockie Sim and Destiny Cherry, scoring a 21 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 course points, a grand total 88-point round. Put it with a 20 out of round 1, that'll be a 108. 108 points for Lockie Sim and Destiny Cherry. You are now watching Mr. Terry Hall. Hazelwood Composer is competitor number 98. 99 onto the camp, please. Wyatt Young, Henry's Jezebel. 100, Brooke Hazlitt with Mia Hellcat. Last competitor, Terry Hall at competitor number 98 with Hazelwood Composer, scoring a 21.67 for cutout. 61 for horsework, Terry, another 4 course points, grand total of 86.67. Put it with a 22 out of round 1, that'll be a 108.67. 108.67 points for Terry Hall's Hazelwood Composer. You are now watching in the yard, Mr. Wyatt Young with Henry's Jezebel. Waiting at the gate, number 100 will be Brooke Hazlitt with Mia Hellcat. Number 101, Josh Gibson with Jewel Smart Cat.
Tamworth competitor we watch, Wyatt Young, riding Henry's Jezebel on behalf of Libby Henderson. Wyatt's had a pretty good day so far today. We've seen him double up a couple of times, so we wish him well this time. Wyatt Young on Libby Henderson's entry, Henry's Jezebel. That's time. That's time. Thank you, judges. Thanks. We'll have a score coming through for Wyatt Young and Henry's Jezebel. 100 moves into the yard, Brooke Hazlitt and Mia Hellcat. Brooke will be followed by 101, Josh Gibson, Dual Smart Cat. Stand by 102, Darren Brislane and Shadow Park Exclusive.
Last competitor number 99, Wyatt Young with Henry's Jezebel, scoring a 20.33 for cutout, 51.33 for horsework. Another 3 course points there, Wyatt. Grand total, 74.66. Put it with an 85.67 out of round 1. That will give you a 160.33, 160.33 points for Wyatt Young and Henry's Jezebel. You are now watching competitor number 100, Brooke Hazlitt with Mia Hellcat. Waiting at the gate, 101, Josh Gibson with Dual Smart Cat. Number 102 will be Darren Brislane with Shadow Park Exclusive. Brooke Hazlitt scoring at a competitor number 100 with Mia Hellcat scoring a 21.33 for cutout. Put it with an 18.33 from round 1. The grand total of 39.67 points.
Cattle out at that changeover there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll swap the yard over. As we noted, we won't drag on this occasion. We only did it a little bit ago, thanks to the crew looking after us. And we will go ahead with competitor number 101, Josh Gibson on Dual Smart Cat. Beardy and I'll wrap up and hand over to our esteemed colleagues here shortly as well, so we'll see you again in a little while. But we will be going ahead with competitor number 101, Josh Gibson, Dual Smart Cat. 102, stand by, Darren Brislane.
Thanks, Heidi. See you very shortly. Good luck with your run. Competitor number 101 now, Josh Gibson, one of our great ever valued partners here once again at Willinga Park for Foresight this time. Josh Gibson, one of the main guys there at Foresight there, riding his nomination in Dual Smart Cat. As we mentioned there, to extend the athletic career of your horse, you need to take care of their joints, so keep them performing at their best. You use the Foresight products. Get them from your vets today. You're watching Josh Gibson at 101. Dual Smart Cat, 102, waiting at the gate will be Darren Brislane with Shadow Park Exclusive.
Good job, morning team. The second crew is in. The afternoon shift, yes. 101 in camp, Josh Gibson on Dual Smart Cat. Josh is from Lake Wendouree. He'll be followed by 102 Darren Brislane on Shadow Park Exclusive, 103 Pete Bolton on Condo, 104 Jamie Gray on Hazelwood Conjure Boy, 105 David Thorne on Miss Scarlet Acres, and 106 Harry Scott on Rocket. And a completed course there by Josh on Dual Smart Cat. 102, Darren Brislane on a Shadow Park exclusive in the camp now, owned by Depot Pastoral. Darren is from Wingham.
Well, score for our last competitor there, Josh Gibson, riding Dual Smart Cat, 21 for cutout, 60.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 85.67 with his 86 from the first round. That'll give him a 2-round score of 171.67. On course, we're watching competitor 102, Darren Brislane from Wingham here on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. Riding Shadow Park exclusive. 103 Peter Bolton in the camp, followed by 104 Jamie Gray.
.103 in camp, Pete Bolton on Condo, owned by Pete and Michelle Bolton from Hayfield.
Well, we have a score coming through for our last competitor, Darren Brislane, riding Shadow Park exclusive, 21 for cutout, 57.67 for horsework, 3 for the course, 81.67. 86.67 from the first round, 2-round score of 168.33. Watching Hayfield Victorian competitor on course, Peter Bolton. Look at Peter's wonderful career in the Camp Draft Arena, was the winner of the 2019 Chinchilla Grandfather Clock. The champion rider in the GCA in 2023.
Conjure Boy, Jamie is from Grantham. He'll be followed by 105, David Thorne on Miss Scarlet Acres, 106, Harry Scott on Rocket, 107, Pete Comiskey on Binia Wisdom, 108, Troy Palmer on Hell's a Comin', 109, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces, 110, Tom Barnes on Willinga Park Nikita.
Well, we have a camp score there for our last competitor, Jamie Gray, of 21.67. 2-round score there with the camp score from the first round, 20.33, 42 over 2. Our previous competitor, Peter Bolton, riding Condo, had 21.33 for cutout, 60 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 85.33. He was 89 in the first round. 2-round score of 174.33.
.105 in the camp now is David Thorne on Miss Scarlet Acres, owned by Bell and Thorne. David is from Wollongbean. At the gate is 106, Harry Scott on Rocket, 107, Pete Comiskey on Binia Wisdom. Another completed course for a beautiful day of drafting here at Willinga Park. 106 in the camp, Harry Scott on Rocket. Harry's from Wandoan. Followed by 107, Pete Comiskey on Binia Wisdom. 108, Troy Palmer on Hell's a Comin'. 109, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spinnin' Aces. 110, Tom Barnes on Willinga Park Nikita. 111, Jack Ventry on Ventry's Risky. 112, Sophie Heffernan on Neat Little Spin. 113, Norman Stagg on Branchvale Agile Kitten. And 114, Hugh Miles on Torelli Treasured Acres.
Well, score for our last competitor, David Thorne, riding Miss Scarlet Acres, 21.33 for cutout, 62.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, 88 points. They're 86.66 here yesterday, 2-round score of 174.67. Well, also a very good morning and welcome to the team from Power FM, of course broadcasting live here from this year's Gold Buckle Championship Camp Draft. So a very good morning to the team there from Power FM. And we thank them for supporting the Willinga Park events in the local community.
Even back to Wagga. Girlfriend Paula, she's like, it's on the radio. Hey, Harry. In camp, 107, Pete Comiskey on Binia Wisdom, owned by Jordan McDowell. Pete's from Nebo in Queensland. 108, Troy Palmer, Hell's a Comin'. 109, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spinnin' Aces. Ooh, good recovery.
Of course, we're watching Pete Comiskey riding Binia Wisdom, Jordan McDowell's nomination. Well, cut out score there this morning of 16 points, with the 80.33 from the first round, 2-round score of 96.33.
In camp, 108, Troy Palmer on the Willinga Park horse, Hell's a Comin'. Troy's from Cooler. And Terry will be glued to the television.
So Troy Palmer working outside, riding Hell's a Comin'. 15-year-old mare out of One Hell of a Spin by Bob's Hickory Rio. Multiple Open and Ladies Camp Draft winner. Placed in the 2021 Willinga Park Gold Buckle Camp Draft. And as Brooke said, owned by Willinga Park.
Big smiles for the Willinga Park team there with Hells Are Coming and a completed course. 109 in the camp, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces, owned by Robert and Alana Chamberlain from Bombala. She'll be followed by 110, Tom Barnes on Willinga Park Nikita. 111, Jack Ventry on Ventry's Risky. 112, Sophie Heffernan on Neat Little Spin. 113, Norman Stagg on Branch Vale Agile Kitten. And 114, Hugh Miles on Torelli Treasured Acres.
Well, score for our last competitor, Troy Palmer, riding Hills Are Coming, 21.67 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 87.67. Their score here yesterday, 89.66, gives them a 2-round score of 177.33. Go there for our last competitor from Bombala, Alana Chamberlain, riding Smart Spin and Acres, 20.33 for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course, 85.33. For a 2-round score of 105.67.
And working in camp, 110, Tom Barnes on Willinga Park Nikita, owned by Oakwood Station. Tom is from Gympie in Queensland. He'll be followed by 111, Jack Ventry on Ventry's Risky. 112, Sophie Heffernan on Neat Little Spin. 113, Norman Stagg on Branch Vale Agile Kitten.
Well, they go with a cutout score of 21 points here for Tom Barnes, riding Willinga Park Nikita, 75.67 here yesterday, 2-round score of 96.67.
Jack Ventry in the camp, 111 on Ventry's Risky. Risky is owned by the Ventry family from Bombala. He'll be followed by 112, Sophie Heffernan, Neat Little Spin. 113, Norman Stagg on Branch Vale Agile Kitten. 114, Hugh Miles on Torelli Treasured Acres. 115, Steve Comiskey on Broomfield Stylish Diamond. 116, Penny McIntosh on Hazelwood Co-Pilot. 117, Luke Cheney on Ward's Braveheart. 118, Ben Hall on Tamaroo Jackson, and 119, Damien Ventry on Willinga Park Delta.
So watching on course, we have 19-year-old competitor from Bombala, Jack Ventry, riding Ventry's Risky, a brown homebred, open gelding.
In camp, 112, Sophie Heffernan from Candelo on Neat Little Spin. She'll be followed by 113, Norman Stagg on Branch Vale Agile Kitten. 114, Hugh Miles on Torelli Treasured Acres.
Well, the score for our last combination there, Jack Ventry riding Ventry's Risky, 14.33 for cutout, 58.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 77 points. 2-round score of 97.33.
Just like to take a moment to thank some more of our event partners, Construction Control for providing their construction and building services here at Willinga Park, ECM Livestock for providing their livestock services and exceptional cattle here for this weekend, Duncan Equine for providing and installing the ultimate stallion rail horse fencing and exclusion fencing at Willinga Park, and Frontier Rural for installing our equine and cattle facilities. Thank you. So in camp, 112, Sophie Heffernan on Neat Little Spin from Candelo. Followed by 113, Norman Stagg on Branch Vale Agile Kitten. 114, Hugh Miles on Torelli Treasured Acres. 115, Steve Comiskey on Broomfield Stylish Diamond. 116, Penny McIntosh on Hazelwood Co-Pilot. 117, Luke Cheney on Ward's Braveheart. 118, Ben Hall on Tamaroo Jackson. 119, Damien Ventry on Willinga Park Delta. Tricky little beast. And 120, Jeff Wallen on Dungara Manpower. Bad luck there for Sophie on Neat Little Spin.
Well, we'd also like to take this opportunity and thank the guys here from the cattle team here at Willinga Park. They do a wonderful job. Thanks to Mr. Brett Petty, Mr. Jack Ridley, Mr. Scott Shea, Mr. Mick Woods and Mr. Pat Cleary. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Ringers Western Gold Buckle Camp Draft Championship for 2023, round number 2. And Brooke, it's wonderful to see Ringers Western here once again sponsoring the Gold Buckle Camp Draft here this year, and you've got some great information there on Ringers Western.
Yes, thanks, Jake. The signature bull truck is out the back too for anyone wanting to pop in and have a look at their merchandise. Ringers Western was formed in the rugged Kimberley region of Western Australia in 2012. Will always be inspired by its roots. Like a ringer, Ringers Western, with its grassroots simplicity, high standard of design and quality, it is tough, adaptable, sometimes cheeky, but offers you class and loyalty. This is the basis of grassroots simplicity. High standard of design and quality sets Ringers Western way ahead of the mob.
Well, Norman Stagg is our competitor in camp, competitor 113, riding Branchvale Agile Kitty.
We'd also like to thank Ben and Max for providing their leading mechanical services here at Willinga Park. Nedia for providing the IT solutions. Kubar Performance Horses, KPH, who are situated at Meadowbank at Kingswood, just 5 minutes south from the city of Tamworth. SAS Water Solutions for keeping the Willinga Park water safe with their exceptional water quality testing and infiltration. Pride's Easy Feed, who provide quality horse feed. Lewis Truckin for providing the civil materials and trucking services for Willinga Park. Bay and Coast Roofing for providing the roofing throughout the structures here at Willinga Park and all the buildings. Shanahan's for keeping our cattle safe and transporting them all over Australia. Mastery of the Horse, the Australian Outback Spectacular will present the Mastery of the Horse on the Gold Coast on the 16th to the 18th of June. And a big thank you to the support of the sponsors. We just could not be the successful event that is run here this week without the support of all the sponsors. Cox Architecture for designing the state-of-the-art architecture throughout the Willinga Park grounds, and Farmello Excavations for providing all residential and commercial civil and concreting.
Well, Norman Stagg in camp, competitor 113, riding Branchvale Agile Kitten. Norm's from Tamworth, and his wife Jane, based up there at Tamworth. Norm operates a fencing business and also trains race horses as well as performance horses. Actually trained a winner on Monday at the Tamworth Gallops. Originally from North Queensland, Townsville in North Queensland, but made the move down to Tamworth some years ago. And, back in the 80s and 90s, Norm was one of Australia's top saddle bronc riders. Won all the major rodeos right throughout Australia. Competed with great success. Well, Agile Kitten is an 11-year-old mare, sired by High Drive Cat, out of Yugelbar Agile Playgirl, on a novice camp draft at Warrialda, Tamworth Show, and also at Walker. But a camp score of 22 points there for Norm Stagg, riding Branchvale Agile Kitten.
In camp, 114, Hugh Miles on Torelli Treasured Acres, owned by Terry and Liz Smith. Hugh's from Tamworth. At the gate is 115, Steve Comiskey on Broomfield Stylish Diamond. 116, Penny McIntosh on Hazelwood Co-Pilot. 117, Luke Cheney on Ward's Braveheart. 118, Ben Hall on Tamaroo Jackson. And 119, Damien Ventry on Willinga Park Delta.
Well, that was Hugh Miles riding Torelli Treasured Acres. We'll have a score coming through very shortly there for that combination. It was number 114 here in the draw.
In the camp, 115, Steve Comiskey on Broomfield Stylish Diamond, owned by Stephen Louise Comiskey from Capella. At the gate is 116, Penny McIntosh on Hazelwood Co-Pilot, 117, Luke Cheney on Ward's Braveheart, and 118, Ben Hall on Tamaroo Jackson.
Right, to score for our last competitor, Hugh Miles, riding Torelli Treasured Acres, 20.67 for cutout, 57 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 81.67, 82.33 yesterday, 2 round score of 164. Well, Steve Comiskey on course, competitor 115, riding Broomfield Stylish Diamond. 12-year-old mare by One Stylish Pepto. Was won the Warwick Gold Cup in 2018. We'll have a score there, folks, for our last competitor, competitor 115, Steve Comiskey. Score has come through, 16 for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 79 points, 87 points here yesterday, 2 round score of 166, 66, clickety click, 166.
Out on course now, 116, Penny McIntosh on a Hazelwood Co-Pilot. Penny's from Gundawindi these days. In the camp, 117, Luke Cheney on Ward's Braveheart, followed by 118, Ben Hall on Jackson. Working in camp now, 117, Luke Cheney on Ward's Braveheart, owned by his father Noel. Luke's from Barry. He'll be followed by 118, Ben Hall on Jackson, 119, Damien Ventry on Willinga Park Delta, and 120, Jeff Wallen on Dungara Manpower.
Well, on course, as Brooke said, we have Luke Cheney from Blaney here in New South Wales. Luke's 21 years of age. He was a runner-up junior rider, the ABCRA. And Luke is riding Ward's Braveheart, an open horse, first in the first round of the Nutrien Open. Thanks, Luke. Well, just for your catalogues, folks, we do have an updated score for Steve Comiskey, competitor number 115. Score of 16 points for cutout, 62.33 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 82.33. That will be a 169.33 over 2 head. Penny McIntosh had a cutout score of 21 points to give her a 2-round score of 108.33. And Luke Cheney, our previous competitor, had a camp score of 20.67, 61.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 86.34, a 2-round score of 172.67.
Out Out on course now, you're watching 118 Ben Hall on Tamaroo Jackson, owned by Ben and Jay Hall from Muddaborough. He'll be followed by 119 in the camp, Damien Ventry on Willinga Park Delta, 120 Jeff Wallen on Dungara Manpower, and 121 Matt Beaches on Reprieve.
Well, score there for Muddaborough Queensland competitor Ben Hall riding Jackson, 21 for cutout, 62.33 for horsework, 4 for the course, 87.33 was his score, or 83.33 here in the first round, a 2-round score of 170.67 for Ben Hall and Jackson.
In the camp, 119, Damien Ventry on Willinga Park Delta. Damien's from Bombala. He'll be followed by 120, Jeff Wallen on Dungara Manpower, 121, Matt Beaches on Reprieve, 122, Jack Birch on Statesman Phoenix, 123, Scott Shea on Breeze, 124, Wyatt Young on Gotta Love a CD, 125, Matt Moy on Shakira's Tapped In, 126, Dean Rogers on Do Be Lucky, 127, Ben McNaughton on Little Acre, and 128, Cat Creek on Dave.
So working outside, we have competitor number 119, I should say, Damien Ventry from Bombala, riding Willinga Park Delta. Willinga Park Delta is a novice mare. Good on you. Thanks, Damien. Nice to see you here this year. Folks, just while that score comes through, we do have an updated score for a competitor a few runs ago. That was competitor 114, Hugh Miles, riding Torelli Treasured Acres. 20.67 for cutout, 53.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 78.34, with 82.33 yesterday, a 2-round score of 160.67. That was for competitor 114, Hugh Miles, riding Torelli Treasured Acres. A score for our last competitor, competitor 119, Damien Ventry, riding Willinga Park Delta, at a 21 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 87 points, or 83.33 yesterday, a 2-round score of 170.33.
In camp, you're watching 120, Jeff Wallen on Dungara Manpower. Jeff is from Lockyer Waters. He'll be followed by 121, Matt Beaches on Reprieve, 122, Jack Birch on Statesman Phoenix, 123, Scott Shea on Breeze, and 124, Wyatt Young on Gotta Love a CD. Working hard in camp now is 120, Jeff Wallen on Dungara Manpower. And that's how camp drafting goes. Little challenges as you go along. Just to let everyone know, Tonight, the Swamp Kitchen is open tonight and tomorrow night. It's open in the marquee. It's a 2-course meal, and you can make your booking at the Willinga information tent or on the website. So you can grab yourself a beautiful feed at the Swamp Kitchen in the marquee over behind the arena.
So Jeff Wallen working outside from Gatton in Queensland, riding Doongara Manpower, an open stallion, 14 years of age, the 2021 runner-up at the Warwick Stallion Camp Draft, on the Stallion Camp Draft at the Australian Stock Horse Nationals.
In camp, 121, Matt Beaches on Reprieve, owned by Matt and Kenny L. Beaches of Mathra in Victoria. 122 at the gate is Jack Birch on Statesman Phoenix. 123, Scott Shea on Breeze. And 124, Wyatt Young on Gotta Love a CD.
Well, Jeff Wallen there, 2 runs ago, competitor 120, riding Doongara Manpower, had a cutout score of 15.33. Matt Beaches goes out with the cutout score as well of 15.33. 83.33 yesterday, 90.67 over 2.
In camp, you're watching 122, Jack Birch on Statesman Phoenix, owned by Jack and Simone Birch from Grenier. 123 at the gate is Scott Shea on Breeze. 124, Wyatt Young on Gotta Love a CD. 125, Matt Moy on Shakira's Tapped In. 126, Dean Rogers on Do Be Lucky. 127, Ben McNaughton on Little Acre. 128, Cat Creek on Dave. 129, Brett Welsh on All Stars Harmony. And 130, Louise Comiskey on Savvy Dancing Cat.
Well, Jack Birch there from Tallangatta in Victoria, just having a cutout score here this morning of 20 points. 20 points there for Jack Birch. So with 15 points there yesterday for Jack Birch, a 2-round score of 35.
Out on course, you're watching competitor 123, Scott Shea on Breeze, one of the hard-working helpers here at Willinga, making sure the event runs smoothly. In the camp will then be 124, Wyatt Young on Gotta Love a CD. 125, Matt Moy on Shakira's Tapped In.
Well, the score there for Scott Shea riding Breeze, 20.67 for cutout, 57 for horse work, 3 for the course, score of 80.67 with the cutout score yesterday of 20.67, a 2-round score of 101.33.
Working in camp, 124, Wyatt Young on Gotta Love a CD, owned by Wade and Harley McElveen. Wyatt's from Tamworth. At the gate is 125, Matt Moy on Shakira's Tapped In. 126, Dean Rogers on Do Be Lucky. And 127, Ben McNaughton on Little Acre.
Well, we'll have a score coming through for Tamworth competitor White Young riding Gotta Love a CD, 20 points for Cutout, 79 points here yesterday, score of 99 over 2. Well, we'd like to also say a very happy birthday to Leanne O'Sullivan. Happy birthday, Leanne. And that's coming from Gary Yates from Atkinson's Dam. So happy birthday, Leanne O'Sullivan. Hope you have a wonderful day.
One, 2, 5 in the camp is Matt Moy on Shakira's Tapped In, owned by the Kooyong Pastoral Proprietary Limited. Matt is from Sutton Forest. He'll be followed by 1, 2, 6 Dean Rogers on Do Be Lucky, 1, 2, 7 Ben McNaughton on Little Acre, and 1, 2, 8 Cat Creek on Dave.
Okay, so that was Matt Moy riding Shakira's Tap In. And we have a camp score of 21 points. With their score from yesterday, 81.66. That will give them a 2-round score of 102.67 for Sutton Forest competitor Matt Moy.
In the camp now, 1, 2, 6 Dean Rogers on Do Be Lucky. Dean's from Bega. He'll be followed by 127 Ben McNaughton on Little Acre, 128 Cat Creek on Dave, and a 129 Brett Welsh on All Stars Harmony.
So as we watch Bega competitor make their way into the Willinga Park Camp Draft Arena, Dean Rogers riding Do Be Lucky, 10-year-old novice gelding. Dean, of course, finalled at the Warwick Gold Cup twice, placing 6th and ran 5th, as well as running 5th here at Willinga Park in 2021. Good on you, Dean. That was Dean Rogers there, folks, from Bega here in New South Wales. We'll have a score coming through very shortly.
$127 in the camp, Ben McNaughton on Little Acre. Ben's from Walker. Following Ben will be 128 Cat Creek on Dave. 129 Brett Welsh on All Stars Harmony. 130 Louise Comiskey on Savvy Dancing Cat. 131 Dave Murphy on Mobile Blue Angel. 132 James McMahon on Brown Dettori. 133 Phil Collins on Yavanmore Ice. 134 Jim Lawton on Orchie. 135 Sarah Cookson on Peel Vale Telesom Smooth. 136 White Young on Metallic Storm. 137 Heidi Smith on a Smith Family Just Joyce. 138 Megan Nankervis on Talawale Sherry, and 139 Pete Comiskey on Rebel Mama.
Well, we have a score for our last competitor, Dean Rogers, riding Do Be Lucky, 22 for Cutout, 62.33 for Horsework, 4 for the course, gives them a score of 88.33. They had a camp score yesterday of 17, 2-round score of 105.33 for Dean Rogers. So Ben McNaughton on course, competitor 127 from Walker here in New South Wales.
So in camp, number 128, Cat Creek on Dave. Dave's owned by Jim Lawton. These guys are from Gundagai these days.
So we have a camp score for our last competitor, Ben McNaughton, riding Little Acre, 21.33. 88 points here in the first round yesterday. Gives them a 2-round score of 109.33.
Little bit of tree planting out there, and then we'll be underway with Cat Creek on Dave.
So on course we have competitor 128, Cat Creek from Gundagai, riding Dave. With a cutout score of 15.33, with the score from yesterday of 79.66, 2-round score of 95 points.
Brett Welsh in the camp now on 129, riding All Stars Harmony. Brett is from Kerry. He'll be followed by 130, Louise Comiskey on Savvy Dancing Cat. 131, Dave Murphy on Mobile Blue Angel. 132, James McMahon on Brown Dettori. And 133, Phil Collins on Yavin Moore Ice. And a completed course there from Brett Welsh on All Stars Harmony. It's good to see so many consistent scores here today or over the last couple of days here at Willinga Park. In the camp, 130, Louise Comiskey on Savvy Dancing Cat, owned by Steve and Louise Comiskey from Capella. At the gate is 131, David Murphy on Mobile Blue Angel.
Well score there for Brett Welsh riding All Stars Harmony. 20.67 for cutout, 61.33 for horsework, 4 for the course. Score of 86 points, they were 85.33 yesterday. Gives them a 2-round score of 171.33. Of course, now we have Louise Comiskey riding Savvy Dancing Cat. 9-year-old gelding, sired by Tap Dancing Cat. Well, we have a cut-out score for Louise Comiskey of 21 points to go with their first round score of 88.33 yesterday. That will be a two-round score of 109.33.
In camp now, you're watching 131, David Murphy on Mobile Blue Angel. David's from Talbot down in Victoria. He'll be followed by 132, James McMahon on Brown Dettori, 133, Philip Collins on Yavanmore Ice, and 134, Jim Lawton on Orchie. In camp, 132, James McMahon on Brown Dettori. James is from Camperdown.
So we have a score for our last competitor, David Murphy, riding Mobile Blue Angel, 21 for cutout, 59.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 84.67. To go with their 82.67 from yesterday, will be a two-round score of 167.33. So Camperdown Victorian competitor on course, James McMahon, riding Brown Dettori, a 13-year-old mare by Brown Victory. And a nice round for our Victorian competitor, James McMahon, riding Brown Dettori.
In camp, 133, Phil Collins on Yavanmore Ice, owned by Kerry Payton and Phil Collins. From Bombala, we followed by 134, Jim Lawton on Orchie, 135, Sarah Cookson on Peel Vale Telus on Smooth, 136, Wyatt Young on Metallic Storm, 137, Heidi Smith on Smith Family Just Joyce, 138, Megan Nankervis on Tallawell Sherry, 139, Pete Comiskey on Rebel Mama, 140, Zane Haberman on Destiny's Swift, and a 141, Bill Kerry on Ninja Cat.
Well score for our last competitor, James McMahon, riding Brown Dettori at a 20.33 for cutout, 62.67 for horsework, 4 for the course. We add those numbers together, that will give us a score of 87 points. Fortunately, no score in the first round, so after 2 rounds, they'll complete their competition with 87 points. Well, we watch Bombala competitor Phil Collins riding Yavin More Ice. Yavin More Ice is a quarter horse, 8 years of age. He came an open horse last year, breaking its open status last weekend. So won numerous cutouts. Phil's career highlights in the camp drafting arena, winning the Big Equitana camp draft, plus many drafts throughout the southern part here of New South Wales and northern Victoria.
In camp, 134, Jim Lawton on Orchie. Jim Reigns from Gundagai. He'll be followed by 135, Sarah Cookson on Peel Vale, Telesom Smooth. 136, Wyatt Young on Metallic Storm. 137, Heidi Smith on Smith Family, Just Joyce. And 138, Megan Nankervis on Sherry.
Score for our last competitor, Phil Collins, 15 for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 78 points. 88 points here yesterday, 2-round score of 166. Watching Gundagai, New South Wales competitor Jim Lawton on course now. Jim is riding Orchie. Orchie is sired by Chevron Ivory. It's a novice horse.
Another completed course here today. Well done, Jim. 135 in the camp. Sarah Cookson on Peel Vale, Telesom Smooth. Horse is owned by Willinga Park. Sarah's part of the horse team here at Willinga. She'll be followed by 136, Wyatt Young on Metallic Storm. 137, Heidi Smith on Smith Family, Just Joyce.
Well, score for our last competitor, Jim Lawton, riding Orchie at a 20.33 for cutout, 61.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, total of 86 points. The camp score yesterday of 15 will give them a 2-round score of 101. So on course, we have competitor 135, Sarah Cookson riding Peel Vale. Tell us I'm smooth.
Beautiful run there from Sarah, and the Willinga Park team will be very excited. In the camp, 136, Wyatt Young on Metallic Storm, owned by the Metallic Storm Syndicate. And Wyatt is from Tamworth. Following Wyatt is 137, Heidi Smith on Smith Family, Just Joyce. 138, Megan Nankervis on Sherry. 139, Pete Comiskey on Rebel Mama. 140, Zane Haberman on Destiny Swift. And 141, Bill Carey on Ninja Cat.
Score for our last competitor, Sarah Cookson riding Peel Vale, Tell Us I'm Smooth, 20.33 for cutout, 62.33 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 86.66. With the 82 points yesterday, a 2-round score of 168.67.
In camp, 137, Heidi Smith on Smith Family, Just Joyce. Heidi and Gav taking the morning shift, so Heidi can have her run now. Good luck, Heidi.
We have a camp score for our last combination. Wyatt Young riding Metallic Storm, 21.67 for cutout. To go with their 90 points from yesterday, a 2-round score of 111.67, 111.67. We have on course now Dungowan competitor Heidi Smith from just outside of Tamworth, riding Smith Family, Just Joyce. 8-year-old mare by Parmazel Kondo. We have a camp score there for Heidi Smith of 20.33 with their 83.67 yesterday, a 2-round score of 104.
In camp, 138, Megan Nankervis on Tallawal Sherry. Megan is from Cudgewall. She'll be followed by 139, Pete Comiskey on Rebel Mama, 140, Zane Haberman on Destiny Swift, 141, Bill Kerry on Ninja Cat, 142, Zeb Pearce on Bailey Spice.
Well, we're watching Cudgewall Victorian competitor Megan Nankervis on course, riding Tallawal Sherry. Recently won her first maiden. Megan's 35 years of age, and she won her first maiden here in 2023. Well, we have a score there for Megan Nankervis riding Tallawal Sherry. 21.33 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 87.33. They had 21 points for the cutout here yesterday, and we'll give them a 2-round score of 108.33.
So out on course now, you're watching 139, Pete Comiskey on Rebel Mama, owned by Bryony Puddicombe. And they come from Nebo in Queensland. Into the camp, 140, Zane Haberman on Destiny Swift. Following Zane, 141, Bill Kerry on Ninja Cat, 142, Zeb Pearce on Bailey Spice, 143, Travis Glover on One Quick Playgirl, 144, Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat, 145, Ben Matom on Bonfire Jovi, 146, Hugh Miles on Tough and Dainty, and 147, Jared Fitzpatrick on Jigsaw.
Well, score there for Pete Comiskey riding Rebel Mama, 21.67 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 88.67, and had the same identical score here yesterday of 88.67, which will give them a 2-round score of 177.33.
In camp, you're watching 140, Zane Haberman on Destiny Swift, owned by Kerry Thompson. And Zane is from Springshaw. He'll be followed by 141, Bill Kerry on Ninja Cat, and 142, Zeb Pearce on Bailey Spice.
Well, Destiny Swift is a 9-year-old stallion by Acres Destiny. Well, we have a camp score there for Zane, riding Destiny Swift of 22 points to go with their 81.67 yesterday. We'll give them a 2-round score of 103.67.
In camp, 141, Bill Kerry on Ninja Cat. This horse is owned by Bill and Jill Kerry from Gundawindi. 142, Zeb Pearce on Bailey Spice. 143, Travis Glover on One Quick Playgirl.
Well, Bill Kerry from Gundawindi in Queensland on course, riding Ninja Cat, an open horse.
Just remember, everyone, bookings are still available in the Swamp Lounge for dinner tonight and tomorrow night. The Swamp Lounge marquee is located alongside the Camp Draft Arena, with the first sitting one sitting at 7 p.m. You can enjoy a South American barbecue-inspired 2-course dinner, and beverages available to purchase in the Swamp Lounge bar.
Well, score there for Bill Kerry riding Ninja Cat, 22 points for cutout, 55.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, total of 81.67. To go with their 86.33 yesterday. We'll give them a grand score of 168.
In camp, you're watching 142 Zeb Pierce on Bailey's Spice, owned by Angus Capel from Nundle. 143 Travis Glover on One Quick Playgirl. 144 Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat. 145 Ben Matum on Bonfire Jovi, and 146 Hugh Miles on Tough and Dainty.
Well, we have a camp score there for Zeb Pierce, riding Bailey Spice of 21 points for cutout, to go with their 21.67 yesterday, 2-round score of 42.67.
So in camp, 143 Travis Glover on One Quick Playgirl from Nyora. He'll be followed by 144 Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat. 145 Ben Matum on Bonfire Jovi. 146 Hugh Miles on Tough and Dainty. 147 Jared Fitzpatrick on Jigsaw. 148 Troy Palmer on Big Red. And 149 Charles Tapp on Tour.
Well, Willinga Park would like to thank Ruhide for their support and for providing the prestigious Gold Buckle Champion Custom Saddle, which will be presented to the winner of the Ringers Western Gold Buckle Camp Draft Championship here on Saturday. So we have a camp score there for Travis Glover, riding One Quick Playgirl of 16.33. They're 86.67 here yesterday. A 2-round score of 103.
In camp, 144 Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat from Royala. She'll be followed by 145 Ben Matum on Bonfire Jovi, and 146 Hugh Miles on Tough and Dainty.
So watching outside, we have Kelly Eagles riding One Stylish Tat, the 13-year-old mare, by One Stylish Pepto.
In camp now, 145 Ben Matum on Bonfire Jovi. He'll be followed by 146 Hugh Miles on Tough and Dainty, and 147 Jared Fitzpatrick on Jigsaw. Bonfire Jovi is owned by Terry Wickham, and Ben comes from Bective.
Well, score for our last competitor, Kelly Eagles, 20.33 for cutout, 55.33 for horsework, 3 for the course, score of 78.66. They'll finish their 2 rounds with a score of 78.67. So Ben Maiden from Bective, just outside of Tamworth, riding Bonfire Jovi. Ben has been a winner of the World Championship Camp Draft at the Sydney Royal Easter Show back in 2009. Winner of the Ray White Epic Open Camp Draft in 2022. Winner of the Ray White Epic Incentive Camp Draft in 2023. And Ben's also been crowned an Australian saddle bronc riding champion in the ABCRA. That was Ben Maiden from Bective riding Bonfire Jovi.
In the camp, 146 Hugh Miles on Tough and Dainty, owned by Peter and Carolyn Doonan. 147 at the gate is Jared Fitzpatrick on Jigsaw. 148 Troy Palmer on Big Red. 149 Charles Tapp on Two Up. 150 Laura McNaughton on Brown Acres. 151 Mark Buttsworth on A Little Turbulence. 152 Tony Cooks on How's That Queen Bee. 153 Ken Bolton on Obenvale Redeem.
Score for our last competitor, Ben Maiden, riding Bonfire Jovi, 15.33 for cutout, 61.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 81 points. With their 21 points here yesterday, a 2-round score of 102. And we see a completed round here today for Hugh Miles, riding Tough and Dainty, competitor 146. Well, we have a score there for Hugh Miles, riding Tough and Dainty, 22 for cutout, 62.33 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 88.33. Our 81 points here yesterday on 2 head, 169.33.
Working in camp now, 147, Jared Fitzpatrick on Jigsaw. This horse is owned by Lindsay Marsden, and Jared is from Roseley, down near Bacchus Marsh. 148, Troy Palmer on Big Red. 149, Charles Tapp on Two Up, and 150, Laura McNaughton on Brown Acres.
Well, we have a camp score there for Jared Fitzpatrick riding Jigsaw, 15.33. Their camp score from yesterday of 19.67, a 2-round score of 35.
In camp, you're watching 148, Troy Palmer on Big Red. This horse is owned by Terry Snow, and Troy is from Cooler. He'll be followed by 149, Charles Tapp on Two Up, 150, Laura McNaughton on Brown Acres, 151. After changing the cattle, I believe will be Mark Buttsworth.
Well, the horse that Troy Palmer rides is Big Red, a 5-year-old stallion imported from the United States of America, from Slate River Ranch. I have a cutout there for Troy Palmer riding Big Red of 21 points. 87 in the first round, a 2-round score of 87 points.
$149 in camp now is Charles Tapp on Two Up from Wandoan. He'll be followed by 150, Laura McNaughton on Brown Acres. Change of cattle for 151, Mark Buttsworth on A Little Turbulence. And 152, Tony Cooks on How's That Queen Bee.
We have a score coming through there for Charles Tapp riding 2 up of 20 points for Cutout, 54 for Horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 77 points with 85 from yesterday, a 2-round score of 162.
Out on course, you're watching 150, Laura McNaughton on Brown Acres from Walker. In the camp is 151, Mark Buttsworth on A Little Turbulence. Horse owned by Don Williams. And Mark has come down from Kingaroy. He'll be followed by 152, Tony Cooks on How's That Queen Bee. 153, Ken Bolton on Obenvale Redeem. 154, Steve Hart on One Time Smart, and 155, Rob Leach on Treasured Acres.
Well, we have a camp score there for Laura McNaughton riding Brown Acres of 21 points. 87.66 from the first round. We'll give Laura a 2-round score of 108.67.
So 151 in the camp, Mark Buttsworth on A Little Turbulence, horse owned by Don Williams. At the gate is 152, Tony Cooks on How's That Queen Bee. 153, Ken Bolton on Obenvale Redeem. And 154, Steve Hart on One Time Smart.
Well, score for our last competitor, number 151, Mark Buttsworth, riding A Little Turbulence. 22.67 for Cutout, 58.67 for Horsework, 4 for the course, total of 85.34. With their 85 from the first round, a 2-round score of 170.33.
So we in camp, 152, Tony Cooks on How's That Queen Bee. Tony is from Mergun. 153 at the gate is Ken Bolton on Obenvale Redeem. 154, Steve Hart on One Time Smart. And 155, Rob Leach on Treasured Acres.
Well, Tony Cooks outside from Mergun in Queensland, riding How's That Queen Bee, a 7-year-old open mare. 2022 ACA Rookie Champion. Side by RU Royal out of Bismarck Catwoman. Well, we have a score there for Tony Cooks riding How's That Queen Bee of 20.67 for the cutout, 61.33 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 86 points. With their 87.67 here yesterday, that will give them a 2-round score of 173.67.
Out on course now, 153, Ken Bolton on Obenvale Redeem. Ken and Allison are from Stradbroke in Victoria. Will be followed by 154, Stephen Hart on One Time Smart.
Well, Ken Bolton on course from Stradbroke in Victoria, riding Obenvale Redeem, open gelding by Binia Impressive Destiny.
Bad luck there for Ken. In the camp, 154, Steve Hart on One Time Smart, owned by Balu Pastoral. Steve is from Googong. He'll be followed by 155, Rob Leach on Treasured Acres, 156, Sarah Cookson on Arizona, 157, Kimberly Salmon on Hard Talk and Kitty, 158, Bevan Reid on Rowdy, 159, Lindsay Hindle on Players Garter, and 160, Matt Holtz on Nonda Last Frontier.
Well, we have a camp score for our last competitor, Ken Bolton, riding Obenvale Redeem of 21.33. They will complete their 2 rounds on a 90.67. Well, competitor 154 on course, Steve Hart, riding One Time Smart, novice horse, 10 years of age. Well, we have a camp score of 22 points there for Steve Hart, riding One Time Smart. They put together 79.67 here yesterday, and we'll give them a 2-round score of 101.67.
In camp, 155, Rob Leach on Treasured Acres, owned by the Rossiter family. Rob comes down from Atunga. He'll be followed by 156, Sarah Cookson on Arizona, 157, Kimberly Salmon on Hard Talk and Kitty.
Well, just while we do have a moment, folks, we do have a correction in the score for Mark Buttsworth, competitor 151 in your catalogue. So, revised score, we have a 22.67 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 88.67. With their 85 from yesterday, we'll give them a grand score of 173.67. Our previous competitor, Rob Leach, riding Treasured Acres, had a cutout score of 21.33. With their 89 yesterday, we'll give them a 2-round score of 110.33. Cutout score for Peter Cookson, riding Arizona, of 21.33. Correction, the rider was Sarah Cookson, 21.33 with their 88 yesterday. We'll give them a 2-round score of 109.33.
And in camp now, 157, Kimberley Salmon on Hard Talking Kitty. This horse is owned by Luke Clan. And Kimberley comes down from Bow Desert. 158, Bevan Reid on Rowdy. 159, Lindsay Hindle on Players Garter. And 160, Matt Holtz on Nonda Last Frontier. So in camp now, 158, Bevan Reid on Rowdy. Bevan is from Delegate. He'll be followed by 159, Lindsay Hindle on Players Garter. 160, Matt Holtz on Nonda Last Frontier. 161, Fiona Palmer on Binia Lorena. 162, Chris Nicholson on Wallaroo Cognito. 163, Matthew Whip on Bullet. 164, Tim McCarthy on Hot Lap. And 165, Nada Grover on Must Be Grisham.
Well, we have a camp score there for Kimberley Salmon, riding Hard Talking Kitty of 21.67. With their 22 points here yesterday, gives them a 2-round score of 43.67. Well, cut-out score there for delegate competitor Bevan Reid, riding Rowdy, of 21 points. He scored 81.33 in the first round. A 2-round score of 102.33.
In the camp, 159, Lindsay Hindle on Players Garter, owned by Lindsay and Belinda Hindle from Highfields. Followed by 160, Matt Holtz on Nonda Last Frontier. And 161, Fiona Palmer on Binia Arena. So working in camp, 159, Lindsay Hindle on Players Garter. At the gate is 160, Matt Holtz on Nonda Last Frontier.
Well, as we watch Toowoomba competitor on course, Lindsay Hindle, riding Players Garter, 11-year-old gelding, who was won in and placed in many camp drafts, including third in the Warwick Gold Cup. Well, we have a camp score there for Lindsay Hindle of 14 points to add to their 81.33 yesterday. Give them a 2-round score of 95.33.
In the camp, 160, Matt Holtz on Nonda Last Frontier, owned by Graham and Jody Rosinski. This is the combination that won the 2022 Ringers Western Gold Buckle Camp Draft. Matt is from Burrumbuttock these days. He'll be followed by 161, Fiona Palmer on Binia Lorena.
Well, score there for Matt Holtz riding Nonda Last Frontier, 22.33 for cutout, 58 for horsework, 3 for the course, a total of 83.33 with an 86 in the first round, 2-round score of 169.33. So Fiona Palmer from Coolah here in New South Wales is on course riding Binia Lorena, an 18-year-old open mare by Binia Impressive Destiny out of Binia Arena. Enjoyed by the whole family and now ridden by a 4-year-old Jet.
In camp now, 162, Chris Nicholson on Wallaroo Cognito. Chris is from Maruya. He'll be followed by 163, Matthew Whip on Bullet. 164, Tim McCarthy on Hot Lap. 165, Nada Grover on Must Be Grisham. 166, Dom Shanahan on Bobby. 167, Kate Schiffman on Chisholm's Silver Spoon.
Well, folks, we have a score for our last competitor, Fiona Palmer, riding Binia Lorena, of 21 points for cutout, 60 for horsework, 4 for the course, total of 85 points. We combine that with their 86 from yesterday, that will give them a 2-round score of 171. So Maruya competitor Chris Nicholson riding Wallaroo Cognito, and the combination we watch working outside, an 8-year-old gelding, side by an Acres colt out of Quick Acres. Novice horse, always making finals and picking up ribbons.
In camp, number 163, Matthew Whip on Bullet from Maruya also. 164, Tim McCarthy on Hot Lap, and a 165, Nada Grover on Must Be Grisham.
Well, camp score there for our last competitor, Chris Nicholson, riding Wallaroo Cognito, 15.67. No score yesterday, so they'll complete their 2 rounds with a score of 15.67. Well, unfortunately, bad luck there for Matthew Whip riding Bullet. 87 points here yesterday, so after 2 rounds, completing on 87.
In the camp, 164, Tim McCarthy on Hot Lap, owned by Tim and Lauren McCarthy from Aldavilla. 165 at the gate is Nada Grover on Must Be Grisham. 166, Dom Shanahan on Bobby. 167, Kate Schiffman on Chisholm's Silver Spoon. 168, Sarah Nichols on Tap Dancing Queen. 169, Lockie Sim on No More Rain. 170, John Mitchell on Miss Hardacre. 171, Steve Comiskey on Katie. And 172, Glenn Dixon on Snowy Mountains Candlebark.
So we watch Kempsey competitor Tim McCarthy now making their way onto the main arena, riding Hot Lap. Open mare, sired by Hot as Hell from a One More Playboy mare. We have a score there for our last combination. Tim McCarthy riding Hot Lap, 21 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, score of 87 points, with a 87.33 yesterday, a 2-round score of 174.33.
In camp, you're watching 165, Nada Grover on Must Be Grisham. Nada is from Lakeside. She'll be followed by 166, Dom Shanahan on Bobby. 167, Kate Schiffman on Chisholm's Silver Spoon. And 168, Sarah Nichols on Tap Dancing Queen. And another completed course there by Nada Grover on Must Be Grisham. 166 in the camp is Dom Shanahan on Bobby. 167, Kate Schiffman on Chisholm's Silver Spoon. 168, Sarah Nichols on Tap Dancing Queen. 169, Lockie Sim on No More Rain. 170, John Mitchell on Miss Hardacre. 171, Steve Comiskey on Katie. So in camp now, 166, Dom Shanahan on Bobby. Dom is from Barnawatha, and this is the man of Shanahan's Transport. The trucks you're seeing all over the countryside these days, and the trucks that cart the cattle here safely to Willinga Park and all over the country for Willinga Park. Thank you, Dom and your team, and bad luck here today. 167 in the camp now, Kate Schiffman on Chisholm's Silver Spoon. Kate's from the branch. She'll be followed by 168, Sarah Nichols on Tap Dancing Queen. A score for Dom on Bobby was a 21.67 on top of his 85.67 from yesterday, giving him a 107.33. And just while they're having trouble putting the last beast away, I will remind you all again that bookings are still available in the Swamp Lounge for dinner tonight and Friday night. So grab yourself a South American barbecue-inspired 2-course dinner. Beverages available at the Swamp Lounge. So bookings and the menu is available online on the Willinga Park website, or duck over to the Willinga Park information tent and book yourself a beautiful South American barbecue inspired meal for tonight or tomorrow night. In camp now, 167, Kate Schiffman on Chisholm Silver Spoon. She'll be followed by 168, Sarah Nichols on Tap Dancing Queen. 169, Lockie Sim on No More Rain. 170, John Mitchell on Miss Hardacre. 171, Steve Comiskey on Katie. 172, Glenn Dixon on Snowy Mountains Candlebark. 173, Dean Norton on Binia Kluger. 174, Hugh Miles on Dooley Tellis. And a change of cattle for 175, Pete Comiskey on Cactus.
Well, Bulladilla competitor we watched, Kate Schiffman, had a camp score of 20.67 with their camp score from yesterday of 20.33 and a 2-round score of 41 points.
So out on course now, 168, Sarah Nichols on Tap Dancing Queen from Josephville. She'll be followed by 169, Lockie Sim on No More Rain.
Well, we have a camp score there for Sarah Nichols riding Tap Dancing Cat of 21 points for cutout. With 21 yesterday, gives her a 2-round score of 42 points.
In the camp, out on course now, sorry. Holbrook competitor Lockie Sim on No More Rain, owned by Lockie and Beck Sim. In the camp, 170, John Mitchell on Miss Hardacre. 171, Steve Comiskey on Katie.
Well, No More Rain is a consistent horse on the truck. Lockie's a 2 times NCCA rider title qualifier from Holbrook here in New South Wales.
So 170 in the camp now, John Mitchell on Miss Hardacre. John is now from Ladysmith. He'll be followed by 171, Steve Comiskey on Katie. 172, Glenn Dixon on Snowy Mountains Candlebark. 173, Dean Norton on Binia Kluger. And 174, Hugh Miles on Dooley Tellis.
So on course we have Ladysmith competitor John Mitchell. John's 32 years of age and he is riding Miss Heartache, a 12-year-old mare by Acres Destiny. An open mare Well, we have a score for our previous competitor, Lockie Sim, riding No More Rain of 20.33 for cutout, 56.33 for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 79.66. We add that with their 22 from yesterday, and we'll give them a 2-round score of 101.67. And we'll have a score very shortly for Ladysmith competitor John Mitchell, Miss Heartache. And scores have come through. 20.67 for cutout, 61.33 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 86 points. They put together 84.67 here in the first round, 2-round score of 170.67. On course now, we have competitor number 171 from Capella in Queensland, Steve Comiskey, riding Katie. This particular mare owned by Bill and Christine Matten.
In camp is 172 Glenn Dixon on Snowy Mountains Candlebark. Glenn is from Jindabyne. He'll be followed by 173 Dean Norton on Binia Kluger, 174 Hugh Miles on Dooley Tellis, and a change of cattle for 175 Pete Comiskey on Cactus. He'll be followed by 176 Dan French on Comet and 177 Shane Palmer on Mr. Stylish.
Well, score there for our last combination. Steve Comiskey riding Katie, 21 for cutout. 50 points there for horsework. We'll have a correction in that score very shortly, but right now we're focused on Jindabyne competitor Glenn Dixon. Glenn is riding Snowy Mountains Candle Bark, an 18-year-old mare by Wildron Gresto. It was won novice camp drafts. Thanks, Glenn. Glenn Dixon there riding Snowy Mountains Candle Bark. Score for the previous rider, Steve Comiskey riding Katie, 21 points for cutout, 50 points for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 74 points. Put to that with the 80 points from yesterday, gives them a 2-round score of 154. Our previous competitor, Glenn Dixon, had a 20 points for cutout, 58.33 for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 81.33. And with a 16.67 yesterday, a 2-round score of 98 points.
Out on course now, 173 Dean Norton on Binia Kluger. Dean's from Lake Kajelico. He'll be followed by 174 Hugh Miles, Dooley Tellis, coming down from Tamworth, and then 175 Pete Comiskey on Cactus.
I have a cutout score there for Dean Norton of 20 points, with 18 points yesterday, 2-round score of 38 points. Well, score there for Hugh Miles riding Dooley Tellis, 22 points for cutout, 61.33 for horsework, 4 for the course. We add those numbers together, that gives us a score of 87.33. 21 points for cutout yesterday, 108.33 over 2 rounds.
So in camp now, 175, Pete Comiskey on Cactus. This horse is owned by Sophie Klein. 176 at the gate is Dan French on Comet. 177 Shane Palmer on Mr. Stylish. 178 Ben Hall on Hall's El Torrio. 179 Casey Cambridge on Mewburn Wishlist. 180 Wyatt Young on Liberty Selena. And 181 Terry Hall on Hazelwood Coraline.
We have a score there for competitor number 175, Pete Comiskey riding Cactus, 21 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 87 points, with their 86.33 yesterday, a 2-round score of 173.33. On course now we have a Nimita Bell competitor 176, Dan French, riding Comet. Comet is a 10-year-old novice mare, and Dan's 19 years of age. Well, we have a score there for Dan French riding Comet, 21 points for cutout, 62 points for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 87 points. They're 21 points for their first round score, a 2-round score of 108 points. So now we have competitor 177, Shane Palmer. Shane is riding Mr. Stylish, a 6-year-old novice gelding, by One Stylish Pepto. Shane's from Tamworth. We have a cutout of 16.67 to go with their 22 points yesterday, a 2-round score of 38.67.
In camp, 178 Ben Hall on Hall's El Torrio, owned by Jane and Ben Hall from Muddaborough in Queensland. 179 Casey Cambridge on Mewburn Wishlist. 180 Wyatt Young on Liberty Selena. 181 Terry Hall on Hazelwood Coraline. 182 Flynn Hunt on Cruise. 183 Tom Williamson on Seamere Metallic. And 184 Vicky Evans on Tallawal Classic Destiny.
So working outside we have Muddaborough Queensland competitor Ben Hall, riding Hall's El Torrio, a brown 14-year-old open horse. Was the winner of the 2022 Condamine Bell and the Grandfather Clock. Well, score there for Ben Hall riding Hall's El Torrio. 21 points for cutout, 62.67 for horsework, 4 points for the course, a score of 87.67. They had an 88.33 here in the first round, a 2-round score of 176.
In camp, 180 Wyatt Young on Liberty Selena, followed by 181 Terry Hall on Hazelwood Coraline, and 182 Flynn Hunt on Cruise.
Well, we have a cam score there for Casey Cambridge, riding Mewburn Wish List. We'll have that score very shortly. So working outside, we have competitor number 180, White Young, riding Liberty Selena from Tamworth.
In camp now, number 181, Terry Hall on Hazelwood Coraline, owned by Des and Pat Castine. Terry is from Gundawindi.
Well, we have a score for our last competitor, White Young, riding Liberty Selena. On course now, we'll have that score to hand very shortly. This is competitor number 181, Terry Hall, riding Coraline, a 13-year-old open mare by Conman out of Acres Aria. They were 5th in the 2019 Grandfather Clock. Well, 4th in the Kubar Golden Guitar in 2021. Well, we'll have a score there for Terry Hall, riding Hazelwood Coraline very shortly, but our previous competitor, Tamworth Camp Draft competitor White Young, riding Liberty Selena at a 20.33 for cutout. 59 points for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 82.33 with a 89.67 yesterday, a 2-round score of 172. And for Gundawindi Queensland competitor Terry Hall, riding Hazelwood Coraline, they put together 21.33 in the camp, 52.33 for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 76.66. They were 87 points here yesterday in the first round, a 2-round score of 163.67 there for Terry Hall, Hazelwood Coraline. And going back 2 competitors ago, Casey Cambridge, riding Mewburn Wish List, had a cutout score of 21 points. They had 20.33 yesterday in the first round, so complete their 2 rounds on a score of 41.33.
So in camp now, 182, Flynn Hunt on Cruise from Newry. He'll be followed by 183, Tom Williamson on See Me Metallic. 184, Vicky Evans on Tallawal Classic Destiny. 185, Hugh Philp on Pretty Monica. 186, Tony McFarlane on Boyce's Cattle Talk. And 187, Brett Welsh on Cedar Grove Contessa.
We have a 16-year-old competitor on course, Flynn Hunt, riding Cruise. Well, we have a score there for Flynn Hunt riding Cruise, 14.33 for cutout. 60 points for Horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 78.33. 19.33 here in the first round, a 2-round score of 97.67.
Out on course now, 183, Tom Williamson from Glen Innes on See Me Metallic. 184 in the camp, Vicky Evans on Talawal Classic Destiny.
Well, See Me Metallic is a 5-year-old signed by Metallic Cat out of See Me Duck. Well, score there for Glen Innes competitor Tom Williamson riding See Me Metallic. 20 points for Cutout, 61.33 for Horsework, 4 for the course. A score of 85.33. There 17 points yesterday. A 2-round score of 102.33.
Out on course now, 184, Vicky Evans on Talawal Classic Destiny. In the camp, 185, Hugh Philp on Pretty Monica.
Well, from Nabiac here in New South Wales, riding the Open Stallion by Acres Destiny out of an open mare in Parkhouse Classic. Talawal Classic Destiny and Vicky Evans, competitor number 184 here in the second round. The second round of the Ringers Western Gold Buckle Camp Draft Championship for 2023. Thanks, Vicky, and we'll have a score very shortly.
In camp, 185, Hugh Philp on Pretty Monica from Claremont. He'll be followed by 186, Tony McFarlane on Boyce's Cattle Talk. 187, Brett Welsh on Cedar Grove Contessa, and 188, Jamie Gray on Chick Chick Boom.
Well, we have a score there for Nabiac competitor Vicky Evans of 20 points for Cutout, 60.33 for Horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 84.33. They had 77.67 scored in the first round, 2-round score of 162. So this is Claremont Central Queensland competitor Hugh Philp on course now, riding Pretty Monica by Montague out of Pretty by Destiny. Purchased this particular horse at the Nutrien sale. Hugh was the winner of the Chinchilla Restricted Open Camp Draft in 2017 and 2018. And nicely does it here this morning there for Hugh Philp. We'll have a score very shortly. Don't forget, folks, as you make your way around this beautiful complex here at Willinga Park, be sure to check out all of our independent traders that are trading here at this year's show. And don't forget to pop in and have a look at the merchandise tent, the Willinga Park merchandise tent. And we have a score for our last competitor, Hugh Philp, with a cutout score of 16 points, 60.67 for Horsework, 4 for the course, score of 80.67. With their 79 points yesterday, we have a 2-round score of 159.67.
Bad luck there for Tony McFarlane on Boyce's Cattle Talk. In camp now, 187, Brett Welch on Cedar Grove Contessa. He'll be followed by 188, Jamie Gray on Chick Chick Boom. 189, David Thorne on One Hell of a Time. 190, Pete Bolton on Miss Munro. 191, Troy Palmer on Lib. And 192, Cassie Fordham on Hollywood Catwalk. So in camp, 187, Brett Welsh on Cedar Grove Contessa, owned by Cedar Grove Ash from Kerry. And at the gate will be Jamie Gray on Chick Chick Boom. So in camp, 188, Jamie Gray on Chick Chick Boom from Grantham. At the gate is 189, David Thorne on One Hell of a Time, 190, Pete Bolton on Miss Munro, and 191, Troy Palmer on Lib.
Well, we have a cutout score of 20 points there for Brett Welsh, riding Cedar Grove Contessa, with their 15 points from yesterday, a 2-round score of 35. So in the camp we have competitor number 188 from Grantham in Queensland, Jamie Gray, riding Chick Chick Boom. This Grantham, the town located at the bottom of the Toowoomba Range. Because the town that has been fully relocated after those devastating floods back in 2010. The whole town was wiped out down at Grantham. So Jamie Gray on course, riding Chick Chick Boom.
Yeah, that's good. In camp now is 189, David Thorne on One Hell of a Time, owned by Kirk and Tracy Nicholson. And Dave is from Wallenbean. 190, Pete Bolton on Miss Munro. 191, Troy Palmer on Lib. 192, Cassie Fordham on Hollywood Catwalk. 193, Tom Donnelly on Cold Chisel. And 194, Kevin Geppert on Cardinia Lawson.
Well, we have a score there for our Grantham competitor Jamie Gray, riding Chick Chick Boom, 16.33 for cutout, 54.67 for horse work, 4 for the course, a score of 75 points. Put that together with their 21 points from yesterday, a 2-round score of 96 points. Unfortunately, bad luck there for our last competitor, 182, David Thorne. We now move to, so that was 189, so we're going to move to 190 now in the camp. Peter Bolton, riding Miss Munro, 191 will follow, and that'll be Troy Palmer, followed by 192, Cassie Fordham, 193, Tom Donnelly. So outside we go with the Hayfield Victorian competitor Peter Bolton riding Miss Munro. A 6-year-old mare by Secret Assassin. Maiden mare who suits the whole family. Peter, of course, the winner of the 2019 Chinchilla Grandfather Clock. And down there in the Gippsland of Victoria. We have a score there for Peter Bolton riding Miss Munro, 20.67 for cutout, 62 points for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 86.67 with their 88.33 here yesterday, a 2-round score of 175. On course now we have competitor number 191 from Coolah here in New South Wales. This is Troy Palmer, and Troy is riding Lib. A 9-year-old novice camp draft mare by Acres Liberty Bow, owned by Hannah Riley. In the camp now we should have competitor 192 Cassie Fordham riding Hollywood Catwalk, followed by 193, Tom Donnelly riding Colt Chisel. 194, Kevin Geppert. 195 is Ben McNaughton. Score there for Troy Palmer riding Lib. We have a 20.33 for cutout, 61 points for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 85.33 with their 87.34 yesterday, a 2-round score of 172.67. We're now watching Tamworth competitor Cassie Fordham on course riding Hollywood Catwalk.
So in camp now, 193, Tom Donnelly on Cold Chisel, 194, Kevin Geppert on Cardinia Lawson, 195, Ben McNaughton on Always Again, 196, Bryony Puddicombe on Time Checks, 197, Toby Roof on Alice, 198, Jake Gray on Seligman's Ellie, 199, Michael Hiscock on Dolly, and 200, Megan McIntosh on Goldie. Could all the turnback riders please stay behind the screen? Has been asked if you could please stay behind the screen out in the arena. Thank you.
Watching on course, this is Tom Donnelly from Barraba, competitor 193 riding Colt Chisel. Well, just to let you know, 22 points for cutout for Cassie Fordham with her 81.67. She scored 103.67. Then we had our last competitor, Tom Donnelly, competitor 193 riding Cold Chisel at a 20.67 for cutout, 53.67 for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 77.34 And they're 81.66 yesterday, a 2-round score of 159. Well, a cut-out score there for Kevin Geppert, riding Cardinia Lawson of 20.67. With no score here in the first round, so completing their second round with a score of 20.67.
In camp, number 195, Ben McNaughton on Always Again, owned by Ted Fogarty. He'll be followed by 196, Bryony Puddicombe on Time Checks, 197, Toby Rofe on Alice, and 198, Jake Gray on Seligman's Ellie.
Well, this is a Walker New South Wales competitor, Ben McNaughton on course, riding Always Again by Tell Us Again. Open mare owned by Ted and Cherie Fogarty from Alice Springs in the Northern Territory. We have a score there for Ben McNaughton riding Always Again of 20.67 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 87.67. There are 89 points in the first round, a 2-round score of 176.67.
So out on course now, Bryony Puddicombe on Time Checks, horse owned by Pete. They've come down from Nebo into the camp. 197, Toby Rofe on Alice, followed by 198, Jake Gray on Seligman's Ellie, and 199, Michael Hiscock on Dolly.
Well score there for Bryony Puddicombe riding Time Checks, 21 points for cutout, 56.67 for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 80.67. They're 81 from the first round, a 2-round score of 161.67. Watching now, competitor 197, Toby Rofe from Sutton's Forest here in New South Wales. Toby made the final here at Willinga Park in 2022. He is riding Alice. Alice is a 6-year-old mare.
In camp now, number 198, Jake Gray on Seligman's Ellie, owned by Kimberly Salmon. 199, Michael Hiscock on Dolly. 200, Megan McIntosh on Goldie. 201, Zane Haberman on Crystal. 202, Bill Carey on Gidget. 203, Karen Gardner on Cahoots Perfect Style. 204, Hugh Miles on More Spoonful. 205, Chris Sherwood on Karma. And 206, Amy Jamison on CD.
Well, we have a score there for our last competitor, Toby Rofe, competitor 197 riding Alice. A cutout score of 20.33, 61.67 for horsework, 4 for the course, a score of 86 points. And 19 points here yesterday, a 2-round score of 105. So we have working outside competitor 198, Jake Gray, riding Sligmanzelli.
In camp now, 199, Michael Hiscock on Dolly, owned by Pat and Luke Hardwick. Michael's come up from Mapra in Victoria. 200 at the gate is Megan McIntosh on Goldie, 201 Zane Haberman on Crystal, and 202 Bill Kerry on Gidget.
Well, we have a score there for our last competitor, Jake Gray, riding Sligmanzelli. 15.67 for cutout, 55 for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 73.67. With their 20.33 yesterday, a 2-round score of 94 points. Watching, as Brooke said, Michael Hiscock on course from Mafra in Victoria. Riding Dolly, an open mare. Michael, of course, the winner of the Gold Buckle Camp Draft here at Belinga Park in 2021. And a 2-time Warwick Gold Cup winner in 2006 and 2013.
So in camp, 200, Megan McIntosh on Goldie from Warra. Followed by 201, Zane Haberman on Crystal, 202, Bill Kerry on Gidget, 203, Karen Gardner on Cahoots Perfect Style, 204, Hugh Miles on More Spoonful, 205, Chris Sherwood on Karma, 206, Amy Jamison on CD, 207, Brett Staines on Conrad, 208, Luke Hardwick on Sweetie, and 209, Andrew Turvey on Knipes Destiny Playgirl.
Well, folks, we have a score for our last competitor, Michael Hiscock, riding Dolly. 21.33 for cutout, 58 points for horsework, 3 for the course, a score of 82.33. With their 80 points yesterday, and we'll give them a 2-round score of 162.33. Well, completing their round, that's competitor number 200, Megan McIntosh, riding Goldie.
Change your cattle now for 201, Zane Haberman on Crystal. Crystal's owned by Lindy Thompson, and Zane is from Springshaw. Oh, sorry. Yes, the ground will be rolled and prepared for the next 100 competitors.
Well, we have a score there for our last competitor, competitor 200, Megan McIntosh, riding Goldie. 21.33 for cutout, 61.33 for horsework, and 4 for the course. So, Megan, we add those numbers together. That gives you a score of 86.66. Put that with your 87.33 yesterday, a 2-round score of 174.
12-pack of Busch Light, a can of Coke, baby, that's all we need. Take it past the county line, start a big bonfire out where the cops won't see.
And do the lasso, pull me real close, put your hands on your hips and dance real slow. Do the lasso, spin them around, do the two-step and dip them on down, up and down like a seesaw.
Dan Steers here with the comedian Bill Carey. Bill, how's Willinga been to you so far?
Oh, it's fantastic to be here, mate. Doesn't matter how I'm going. It's just great to be around a bunch of good fellas. Surviving for the day, but no major scores.
Well, you're probably being modest. Let's talk through it. How many runs in the first round have you got?
7 all up, 1 to go. I'm not sure, mate. 79, 81, 83, 86. Yeah, nothing major, but just surviving. That's the name of the game here.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about with a lot of the riders, is it is a different format. It's a one of a kind. So does it change your strategy when we're looking into going into a clean slate semi-final?
No, I treat myself, I treat every beast as it comes in to what sort of score I can get out of it, whether it's a round, first round. We're nowhere near our clean slate final yet, so if I can get a 90 out of something, I'll be trying hard.
Is this your first time drafting at Willinga?
No, second time. I was here 2 years ago. Yeah, I got some round money a couple of years ago, and we made the semi-finals and got round money in that, and made the finals, but no luck in the final a couple of years ago.
What was your first impressions when you turned up to Willinga Park?
Scared shitless. Out of my comfort zone down here, mate. Herefords, we don't get Herefords up at home. So yeah, I've been trying to adapt the best I can because they're a bit different to read than the cattle I'm used to up at home. So I watch these fellas that live down here a lot and try and get to the camp and watch those fellas that get to chase them a lot more than I do.
So like a lot of people, you have to travel a fair way. What's it sort of look like? Are you doing it? Is it a 1 day, 2 day? Like, tell us, and also the viewers at home. You come from Goondiwindi. What's the route that you take?
We come down. We take 2 days to get here. We pulled up at Scone the first night, but they're 2 decent days. They're days with not, they're not extreme full days, but there's not much day left by the time you finished each day. So when we get to Scone, the horses are pretty happy to get off and get a drink and a feed, and then there's the same here. We get here and they're pretty happy to get off. We don't do anything to them at all. I came down a day earlier this year, so I had a full day here, which was great for the horses. They got to come and see the grounds and ride them around on this surface. It's an amazing surface that Mac has put together here, and yeah, it was really good. I didn't have another show last weekend, so I thought I'd get a day here before everyone else.
And I've been asking this question to most of the riders. What would it mean to Bill Carey to win the Ringers Western Gold Buckle Championship here?
Yeah, look, it'd mean, don't know how to answer that one, mate. There's sort of words wouldn't be able to describe it, I would say. That's the only way I could explain it. Words wouldn't be able to describe what it would be like to win it.
Well, I do know you a little bit personally, Bill. I know it would be one hell of a party come Saturday night. If Bill Carey, everyone's invited, I'm pretty sure there'd be a bit of money on the bar from old Bill. Would that be true?
Oh, yeah, mate. Everyone would be invited if I just won a round. I just love camp drafts, mate. I love being competitive, but it's one of the most unique sports I know of, where you get to catch up with mates quite often that live, 10 hours away, that if you didn't do camp drafting, you might only get to catch up with them every 3 years, whereas we get to see them, 10 times a year. It's an incredible sport. Other than, having a good horse and having a good time, winning drafts, that's secondary as far as I'm concerned. To be able to catch up with good people all the time, there's no other sport like it.
And this is going to throw a bit of a curveball. I haven't asked this question today, but if you've got to go, if there's one horse and rider combination here, other than yourself, that you want to rush over to the camp to watch, who is that combination?
You mean who's going to get second?
It's not even about winning. It's just who are you rushing over the camp to watch and enjoy seeing draft no matter where it is? Is there a horse and rider combination?
No, mate. There's not. There's probably 20 or 30 of them. Yep.
Pull one. Just give me one.
Mate, it's something I've never thought of. That's probably why you haven't asked the question yet. No, I would be. I wouldn't like to answer that because that'd be extremely unfair to all the great competitors over Australia. There's 20 or 30 of them, probably more, that I pull up to watch all the time.
So diplomatic, Bill. What we'll do is when we see you a little bit later on at the bar and you're doing one of your Irish jigs, I'll ask you that question again and see if we can narrow it down even to a top three. All right, that's going to be the aim. I don't think this will be, it may be the first interview, but it's certainly not going to be the last. So we'll make sure we'll get that out of you. Anyway, good luck, Bill, and hopefully we see you in the final. Thank you.
All right, thanks, mate. Cheers.
I know if I can make it when I walk alone. Can somebody come and save me? I just wanna know. I wanna know.
I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light. I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red.
I could run through the fire.
Dan here with Jordan. How are you doing here, Jordan?
A little bit chilly, but that's okay. Doing pretty well other than that. So,
Have you had a couple of runs today?
not yet. My first horse is about to go, and then this horse is about 30 runs later.
So they've got you jammed in the back end, but I also know with a little bit of, information we talked earlier that you've actually got some horses here with Pete Kaminsky. How have they done today?
They're the two runs about to happen. So I've sort of put PJ on them because he's a bit more experienced than I am, and then I'll just have a little run in the ladies.
All right. So is there any words of wisdom that you've given Pete to help him, guide him around the course? Does he need any help? I know he's won it twice. Spoke to Bryony earlier. Bryony put a little bit of pressure on him with her horse Jim. She told him that if he doesn't come up with the goods, that she was going to find another jockey, which I thought was pretty harsh on him. But he rose to the occasion and had a good run on him. Are you giving Pete any feedback prior to him going in there and showing your horses?
Look, sometimes we have a bit of a chat, but PJ has been very consistent today. I think he's put everything he's had round so far, so I'm letting him do his thing. He's got it pretty covered so far, so hopefully we'll follow in the same suit.
Is this your first time to Willinga?
No, we came down last year, was the first time we bought horses, and then the year before that we came for a bit of a look and really enjoyed it, so been back ever since.
What was your first impression when you drove through the gates of Willinga for that first time?
It's just an incredible facility. A lot of my friends have been here for the dressage before, so I'd heard a lot about it before we got down, and it surpassed all my expectations, so yeah, very impressive.
So you are a disciplined jumper. You have jumped from dressage, is that right, into camp drafting?
Yes, from show horses, so it's very different, but enjoying this a lot more.
So what made you make the change?
We had thoroughbreds, and to get them ready for the early shows, we're in North Queensland, so just the climate, we couldn't get them looking well enough, and they ended up in stables down south, and I'd just fly in for the big shows, and I messed up a championship workout, and Mum said, you probably need to sit on something at home in the meantime. So we ended up with our first camp drafter. I think we've got 7 now and no hacks, so well and truly converted.
So you've done a complete backflip. We've talked about it before on these interviews that camp drafting is the largest and fastest growing equine sport. It's surpassed eventing and it's the largest behind racing. So it's, you know, as far as recreational sports, it's number one. So I guess that's a testament to your story to say that, you know, you've come across and you've got into camp drafting. What do you love most about camp drafting?
The people, I think. And also you're competing against yourself. You're sort of competing against everyone else, but if you have a really good run, you're satisfied, and it's not all about winning as much as you want to. It's about bettering your horse and yourself and putting one round and getting a 90.
90, there you go. All right, no pressure, Pete. Just get a 90 and Geordie will be happy. The question I've been asking nearly everybody that we've interviewed here so far is, what would it mean to you for one of your horses to win the Ringers Western Gold Buckle Camp Draft Championship?
Oh, I think it'd be very special. It's definitely one of the biggest, and I mean, it's the best horses in the country, so to have that buckle at the end of the day would be a pretty big achievement, and very happy with the horses.
There you go. All right, well, good luck, and hopefully Pete can put your horses around, and also you can get a little bit of luck in the ladies, and hopefully we'll see you in the finals.
Thank you.